and it kind of gives me something to look forward to in my mundane life. Hello, welcome to Sound and Fairy Book Reviews. As usual, I am Tina. Today I'm doing one of these kind of list videos where I'm going to list off all of the books I have in my NetGalley TBR. So these are books that NetGalley have approved me to read. They're all coming out sometime between the end of December and June of next year, and I will probably have even more of these as the months progress. But these are the ones I have right now. I'm very excited about all of them, so I'm going to kind of explain to you what they are. I also am doing the Reindeer Readathon this year. I hadn't planned on doing it, but then I kind of got sucked in, so now I'm doing it. And I was just going to briefly talk about the books that I'm doing for that. So I'll do that first. So for the Reindeer Readathon, I'm kind of like wrapping up a bunch of stuff that I meant to read earlier in the year. So first I'm reading Tom Hardy's Two on a Tower. I have been reading to read more, you know, Victorian, like late 1800s books because I love them. So I'm like, Thomas Hardy, he's my boy, I love him. So yeah, I'm going to read that because I have it. I got this book off Instagram. Someone reached out and asked me to review it, and I said sounds good. It's also not massive, so that's good. And I knew you were reviewing this. It's a sci-fi book. At the end of December, probably. I'm gonna try to read Kokoro by Natsume Soseki. Apologies if that is pronounced wrong, which I heard is really good. Again, this is like a late 1800s book, but this one's from a Japanese writer, and it's a translation. I've been meaning to read this all year. 25 to Life, I have been meaning to read all year. This is a sci-fi book from Angry Robot. I will be reading this, I swear. I'm also going to be attempting to read Manhunt. My sister bought this for me. I'm terrified of this book because I heard it's quite insane. So I'll let you know how this goes. I'm also going to be reading one of these two, because one of the prompts is like a book with like stars or celestial bodies in the title. And so of these two classic sci-fis, I have this one that's from like the 50s or 40s even, and then this one that's a little newer. Honestly, this one's going to be more of like a mood read. Like, do I feel like kind of hacking through one of these, or this cute little one might be fun? So yeah, we'll see about that. I also have another one. One of the NetGalley ones I'm going to talk about is going to be for that as well, because it's an ebook. And then I'm also listening to Demon's Reign on Audible. I am listening to it now because audiobooks take me a long time. So I'm like, fine, I'm not really cheating if I'm starting it like, you know, mid-November, because it takes me 6 weeks to listen to like a 20-hour audiobook. So yeah, that one's, I'm really enjoying it though. So that one's pretty cool too. So that's for the Reindeer Readathon. Now for NetGalley, I got a whole bunch of titles. I'm just going to kind of briefly explain what they are, kind of show you them. I'm not going to read their synopses because that takes forever, and I don't know if you guys care about that. So the first one that I'm reading, end of December, it's coming out January 10th, so I'm probably going to post a review on, I have it on my chart here, the 27th. This is Burrowed by Mary Bader Cayley. This is an Angry Robot book. As I said, comes out January 10th. This is a dystopian sci-fi about a plague that has separated humanity into two kind of people that live underground and people that live on the surface. It's about this girl that, I guess she's some kind of a genius, and she's finding a cure, and there's like conspiracy and stuff. So this sounds really fun. It seems like it might be YA, but I will try YA if it's post-apocalyptic and if it's Angry Robot. So okay, these aren't really in order of when they come out. This is just on the order of the list because I'm like literally looking at gladly. So the next one, this one is Maeve Fly by CJ Lead. This is coming out on June 6th by Tor Publishing Group, Tor Nightfire. And this, I was surprised they approved for me. This is a really weird kind of horror book, I guess, about, I'm just going to read this one to you because it's wild. By day, Maeve Fly works at the happiest place in the world as every child's favorite ice princess. By the neon night glow of the Sunset Strip, Maeve hunts the dive bars with a drink in one hand and a book in the other, imitating her misanthropic literary heroes. But when Gideon Green, her brother's best friend, moves to town, he awakens something dangerous within her, and the world she knows suddenly shifts beneath her feet. Untethered, Maeve ditches her discontented act and tries on a new persona, a bolder, bloodier one, inspired by the pages of American Psycho. Step aside Patrick Bateman, it's Maeve's turn with the knife. I'm actually not a huge fan of American Psycho. I tried to read it, I just found it kind of, I don't know, self-indulgent. I'm not super fond of his type of writing, but I found this very compelling, and I'm very interested in to see what it's about. Also, that cover is wild. So yeah, there's that one. I've also got, the next one is World Running Down. This is another Angry Robot one. I'm auto-approved by them, so I basically read everything that they put out. This is by Al Hess. This is coming out on Valentine's Day. This is an LGBTQ plus kind of adventure, also post-apocalyptic book. So it's about a transgender person who's a salvager in the wastelands of Utah, and he wants to get citizenship into Salt Lake City, but the problem is he has to get money, and then he runs into this AI who's been forced into an android body, and so they go off together to find these other stolen kind of androids, but then it turns out the android ladies do not want to be escorts anymore. So this sounds really cool to me. It has kind of Cherry 2000 vibes, of a movie that I love, so I'm very interested in this one, so I'm very excited about that one. I'm excited about all of them, so if I say I'm excited like 1,000 times. The next one is Camp Zero by Michelle Min Sterling. This is a book from Atria Books, and this is set in Canada, but an American building project. So there's this woman who agrees to travel there to spy on this architect. There's another person there who's also spying on the architect. So something's going on at this base, and it's like a climate research station. You know what's going on. So it's kind of like a thriller, kind of semi-post-apocalyptic, might just be dystopian. It's a cli-fi, I'm pretty sure. I'm super into that, so yeah. The next one is Frontier, that I am so excited about, by Grace Curtis. This is also coming out on Valentine's Day. This is from Rebellion, Solaris Publishing. This is another LGBTQ+1, and this one is about a woman who comes back to Earth a few hundred years after Earth has been destroyed. There's still people there, but it's like a lawless society. So she crashes, and she has to find her way across the wasteland to the woman she loves, and her mission. So I'm very interested in this because it seems kind of like a Western sci-fi, which I'm super, super into. So yeah. The next one I got approved for, I'm very excited because it is Don't Fear the Reaper by Stephen Graham Jones. This is the sequel or continuing of the series of My Heart is a Chainsaw, a horror book that I really, really loved. I read it late last year, I believe. And so it follows the same character. And so I'm not going to read you the blurb or tell you about it because it might spoil the first book for you, but yeah, I highly recommend My Heart is a Chainsaw if you like horror movies, especially if you love B-movie or horror movies from like the 80s, which if you check out my video, you'll know that I enjoy. So yeah, very, very good book, and Stephen Graham Jones is such a good writer. The next one I got was Pinata by Leopoldo Gil. This is coming out March 14th from Tor. Thank you, Tor. So this is like a story of ghost possession or demon possession. So a woman, she goes back to Mexico with her daughters. She unleashes this kind of... she unleashes this stash of artifacts. She gets fired for doing this, basically, goes back to New York, and that's when the fun starts, I guess. So yeah, I'm really interested in this because I love like ghost possession kind of horror stories, so that sounds cool to me. The Scourge Between Stars by Ness Brown. This is from Macmillan Tor again. Jeez. This seems like a sci-fi horror kind of adventure. So there is a ship that's coming back to Earth after they failed to build a colony on a different planet, but something starts killing off crew members. So we have the crew and the captain, and she's trying to hunt down this intruder. What is the intruder? Is it a monster? Who knows? It kind of looks like a monster in the picture. Yeah, we'll see. I'm super into this one. I love sci-fi horror. The next one is The Marigold by Andrew F. Sullivan. This is coming out April 18th from ECW Press. This is a horror kind of literary fiction sci-fi. So it's set in Toronto, which I like because I'm Canadian. So anything set in Canada, I'm happy about. And it's about this condo tower that is kind of crumbling, and then this other person that wants to rebuild it, but there's a bunch of other weird stuff going on, and there's this toxic mold that's infesting everything. Super, super fun sounding, and I can't wait to jump into this one. Tor approved me for Feed Them Silence as well, which is Lee Mandello. He wrote Summer Suns, a book that I really enjoyed last year. This is a novella, I believe, and it's about a woman that that uses a neurological interface that translates wolves' perceptions into her own mind, and she kind of wants to experience what it's like to be as a wolf. I think it's a story about obsession and things like that. It sounds really interesting, and I really liked his writing style, so I'm very, very interested in this one. I mean, I'm interested in all of them. I keep saying that, but now there are two that I was denied, and I am very sad about that. But I will tell you what they are because I do plan on still reading them. The first is Sister Maiden Monster by Lucy A. Snyder. This is from Tora. They probably were like, we've approved too many of this too many requests by this woman, and yeah, but this is post-apocalyptic about 3 women trying to survive this kind of weird warping of the world. It's like a cosmic horror kind of. I'm it looks so cool. The cover looks amazing. Anyway, so I'm so sad I didn't get that one, but that's okay. I can buy some things sometimes, I guess. The next one I was very depressed I didn't get approved for. This was Some Desperate Glory. This is an LGBTQ plus sci-fi fantasy about this woman who is trying to escape and save the world. Basically, that is a very, very base plot about it, but it just sounds really good, and I will probably buy this one. Yeah. There are 3 more books that I have requested that have not been approved yet. So one is called Nothing But Rain by Naomi Salmon. This is another post-apocalyptic book. There's The Archive Undying by Emma Michael Candon, which is a sci-fi fantasy about rogue AI creature or gods and things like that. And then The Light at the End of the World by Siddhartha Deb. This one is kind of like 4 different timelines, so 1859, 1947, 1984, different characters going through different things, and then there's also a future element that's post-apocalyptic or apocalyptic, yeah, that I'm very interested in. So this one's also a literary sci-fi. It's actually not even a sci-fi, it's just based as literary fiction. The apocalyptic element I'm very into. So yeah, we'll see if I get approved for those. But yeah, so all of these will be reviewed. Usually I review them 2 weeks before their release date. Because some of these have the same release date, I will be reviewing a couple of them early. Or if I really, really want to read one, I might read it early. We'll see. I'm not a mood reader. I am a TBR reader, so I plan these things out, and it kind of gives me something to look forward to in my mundane life. So yeah. I hope you found that interesting. Let me know which of these that I mentioned is the most interesting to you. Let me know if there's one you want me to review right away, because I could do that maybe. But yeah, thanks for watching, and